Smoke still rose from the battlefield. The sky was red, the ground blackened by fire. Machines were broken, and the air smelled like metal and blood. Dead soldiers, human and alien, lay scattered everywhere. Kane, a human soldier in torn armor, walked alone. His helmet was cracked, his gun was nearly empty, and his left arm was bleeding, but he didn't stop. He was searching for something. Or someone. He had seen it crash. A strange alien pod, small and silver, had fallen from the sky during the fight. His team was gone, killed or taken. But Kane was still alive, and he had seen where the pod landed. Through broken stone walls and burning trees, Kane moved carefully. Every step echoed something about that pod felt important. Then he saw it. The pod was open. It had cracked in the middle like an egg. Smoke still hissed from the sides. Inside was a figure slumped, still breathing. It was a female alien. Her skin was silver blue, glowing faintly even in the smoke. Chains were wrapped around her arms and legs. A strange collar blinked red at her neck. She looked weak, injured. But not dead, not yet. Kane raised his weapon slowly. He didn't know what she was? Enemy? Spy? Or something else? Then she looked up. Her eyes met his, bright violet, glowing softly. Not with fear, but something else. She didn't scream. She didn't fight. She spoke. Show mercy. Human, she whispered. Her voice was soft, shaking. My body will give you powerful offspring. Kane froze. What did you say? The alien woman took a weak breath. I am the last of my bloodline. My people, they fear what I carry, but your DNA, your strength matches. He blinked. You're talking about a child? She nodded slowly. A hybrid. Stronger than any known race. My kind locked me away. Called me a danger. They left me here to die. Her voice cracked. But I don't want to die. Kane didn't know what to think. This had to be a trick. No one, nothing just offers themselves like that. Was she mad? Was she lying? But her chains were real. Her wounds were real. He looked around. The sound of engines echoed nearby. Drones, patrols. Someone was coming. If they found him, they'd kill them both. Kane stepped closer. The alien woman flinched but didn't fight. Why should I trust you? He asked. She looked at him again, this time with something human in her expression, sadness. Because I have nothing left. And you are the only one who stopped to listen? The drone. Sounds were louder now. Kane had seconds to decide, leave her and walk away, or help her and risk everything. He gritted his teeth. Damn it. With one strong pull, he broke the collar from her neck. The red light blinked twice, then shut off. Can you walk? She nodded weakly. Kane grabbed her arm and lifted her to her feet. She was tall, light, and cold to the touch. But she leaned into him. Trusted him. As they moved away from the crash site, she whispered one more thing. My name is Solara. Kane, he replied. Let's get you out of here, Solara. They vanished into the smoke, just as enemy drones flew over the ruins. But they didn't see the broken pod or the strange pair escaping through the shadows, somewhere deep inside. Kane knew his life had just changed, and Solara. She smiled faintly as if she knew more than she had said. The night was quiet, but not peaceful. Kane moved through the burned forest, helping Solara walk. She limped beside him, her silver blue skin glowing faintly in the dark. Every few steps she winced. Her body was weak, but her eyes stayed sharp, always watching. They didn't speak for a while. Kane was still thinking about what she had said in the pod. My body will give you powerful offspring. Was she serious, or was it just desperation? He had fought many alien races, but this was the first time one had begged for mercy, not with fear, but with an offer of life. Why would your own people leave you chained like that? Kane finally asked as they hid behind a rock near a dried riverbed. Solara looked at him with quiet pain. Because I carry something they fear, Kane frowned. A weapon? She shook her head. A future. She sat down on the cold rock and pulled aside part of her torn uniform. Underneath, strange marks glowed faintly on her stomach, runes, written in a language Kane didn't know. They pulsed like a heartbeat. I am Karnathi, she said softly. My people were once powerful, but our numbers dropped. The elders tried to create a new bloodline. Strong, fast, smart, but something changed. My body evolved. She looked up at Kane. I became compatible with other species. Kane blinked. You mean humans? Yes, only humans. The scientists called me an anomaly. The priests called me cursed. My child would be something the galaxy has never seen. She paused, then said something that gave Kane chills. They feared that a child born of me, and a human like you, would be strong enough to unite races or destroy them all. Kane was quiet. It sounded like something out of a myth, not real life, but those glowing marks on her skin, and the way the drones were searching so hard for them made him wonder, how do you even know I'm the right one? He asked. Solara looked at him, serious. Because my body reacts to strength and to mercy. She touched her chest where her heartbeat was faster now. You didn't kill me, you chose to help. Kane didn't reply. He wasn't sure what to say. He wasn't a hero, just a tired soldier trying to survive. Suddenly, a loud hum filled the air. Enemy searchlights passed over the trees nearby. Kane pulled her down. He scanned the area, eyes sharp. The drones were using heat sensors. They had minutes, maybe less. There's an old Earth shelter up north, Kane whispered. Abandoned during the last retreat. If we can reach it, I can guide us, Solara said, already trying to stand. I can sense the energy lines in the ground. Your shelters leave a signature. Kane gave her a surprised look. You sure you're not reading my mind too? Solara smiled faintly. Not yet. They moved again, quicker now, sticking to the shadows. The forest thinned, revealing a collapsed bridge and broken metal pipes. Signs of old human camps dot as they approached a hidden cave entrance. Kane noticed Solara was sweating. Her skin shimmered strangely. Are you all right? He asked. I'm holding the bond back, she said through gritted teeth. My body wants to begin the binding. Binding? She leaned on him, weak but burning with strange warmth. Once joined, the bond cannot be undone. My body chooses only once, and it has already chosen? Kane's heart pounded. He didn't understand this alien magic. But he understood danger. And he saw something else now. She was not lying. Her people really had left her behind. Because they were afraid, not of what she would do, but of what she could become. They reached the hidden shelter, sealed behind an old blast door. Kane entered the access code. The door groaned and opened slowly. Inside, the lights flickered on, for the first time since the crash. They had shelter, safety, a place to rest. Kane closed the door and locked it behind them. Solara fell to her knees. Kane, she whispered, you must know. I am not just asking to survive. I am asking you to decide the future. Kane stared at her, the glow from her body painting the walls with strange light. She wasn't just a broken alien girl anymore. She was the key to something bigger, and he had just stepped into a war far greater than he'd ever known. The shelter was quiet, but not for long. Old metal walls hummed as backup power came online. Kane checked the scanner. He could see movement on the radar, enemy drones circling the forest. They were getting closer. Too close. Solara sat near a rusted medical pod, breathing hard. Her skin glowed brighter now, and strange lines of light pulsed across her body. She looked both alien and almost human. What's happening to you? Kane asked, grabbing an old medkit. The bond, Solara whispered. My body has chosen. It's preparing. Preparing for what? She met his eyes, calm but serious. To protect, to become more. Kane shook his head. You don't need to do anything right now. Just rest. He started patching her wounds. Her skin was soft but cool, almost like smooth stone. When he touched her side, a pulse of blue light spread from his fingers, and she shivered. I can feel your thoughts, she said softly. Kane froze. You can what? Not fully. Just your emotions. Her voice trembled now. You feel fear and guilt. You think you don't deserve to live. That you're just a broken warrior. Kane stood up fast, his jaw tight. Don't do that. I'm sorry, she said. I didn't mean to see it. The bond does this on its own. when two are close. Kane walked away, his heart pounding. He didn't want her inside his mind. He didn't want anyone there. Not after what he'd seen. Not after who he'd lost, but then she said something. That made him stop. You saved me when no one else would. That tells me more than any memory. He turned to look at her. She was glowing softly now, hands on her chest, eyes full of something he hadn't seen before. Trust. Then the scanner beeped. A red light blinked. They'd been found. A blast rocked the outside of the shelter. Dust rained from the ceiling. The blast door shook. They're here, Kane muttered. No time for rest. He picked up his gun, but the charge was almost gone. One shot, maybe two? It wasn't enough. I'll distract them, he said. You stay hidden. If I don't come back— No, Solara interrupted. I go with you. You're hurt. I'm bonded. Her voice was stronger now. She stood, and the glowing marks on her skin flared like fire. Suddenly, her body began to shift. Her arms hardened slightly. Her eyes burned with energy, and sharp patterns grew across her forearms. What the hell? Kane whispered. My bond lets me access new forms, she said. Only with the one I've chosen. You're turning into a weapon? Kane muttered. She smiled. I'm turning into your shield. Together they moved to the shelters. Hallway. The blast door finally burst open with a flash of white fire. 3 enemy drones rolled in dark. Round, with red eyes scanning everything. Kane raised his gun. Back off! But before he could shoot, Solara moved. With speed Kane hadn't seen before, she leaped into the air, her hands glowing like blades. She sliced through the first drone, dodged a pulse blast, and slammed her fist through the second. Kane blinked. She's faster than any human. The third drone locked onto Kane, but Solara stepped in front of him. The blast hit her full in the chest. Kane screamed, No! Smoke rose from her body. But when it cleared, she was still standing. Her skin had turned silver and hard like armor. She had protected him. The drone tried to fire again, but Kane took the shot and destroyed it. Silence followed. The fight was over. Solara fell to her knees, her breathing heavy. Kane rushed to her. Why would you do that? She looked at him, eyes glowing gently. Because this is not just survival. It's a beginning. Kane helped her stand. He felt something warm in his chest. Now, not just adrenaline, something deeper. You called it a bond, Kane said. But this feels like more. Solara touched his hand. That's because it is. Asterisk, the sun never rose in this part of the war zone. Thick clouds hung low, and black smoke from past battles covered the sky. Kane led Solara through a deep canyon, far from any maps. His body ached. Her footsteps were slower now, and her glow had dimmed. But they kept going. We need to find shelter, Kane muttered, scanning the cliffs. A real one this time. Not just an old bunker. Solara held her side. Her wounds were worse than she admitted. Even her powerful form couldn't heal without rest. There is one, she whispered. I saw it in your mind. Kane looked at her. You saw what? While I was unconscious, she said gently. Your memories passed through the bond. A hidden human facility, underground, sealed. You thought about it during the battle, Kane remembered now, a black site. Not military secret research. He'd only been there once and barely survived what he saw. The place was full of strange tech, DNA experiments, and things even humans weren't proud of. Yeah, he muttered. Not exactly a vacation spot. But it has answers, Solara said. About me, about us. They reached a cliff wall with a smooth, fake rock face. Kane brushed off dust and found the scanner. It still worked. He pressed his thumb. The wall hissed, then slid open. Inside was darkness. Cold and still, they stepped into the hidden lab. The facility lit up slowly, one section at a time. Old lights flickered. Screens came to life. Shelves of files, test tubes, and sealed pods lined the walls. Solara looked around, confused and curious. Kane walked over to a control panel and typed in a few codes. Last time I was here, he said, I was just a scout. This place was locked down by order of the Terran Science Division. What did they study here? She asked. Kane opened a terminal. And what he found froze him. dozens of entries labeled Project Hybrid. Human DNA mixing experiments. With alien species. One file was still active. It had a name, Carnathy genome, reproduction match detected. Kane clicked it. A screen opened showing a genetic match report. 2 profiles appeared. One was Solara, the other was Kane. He stared at the screen. What the hell? Solara stepped forward. Her face was pale. They knew. They were watching, Kane said, even before we met. They knew you would match me. This was never by accident, Solara whispered. They wanted a hybrid. They planned it. Kane sat down slowly. Everything made sense now, the drone response. The human command ordering him to leave survivors behind, even the strange dreams he had weeks before the battle. They didn't just want peace, he muttered. They wanted a weapon. Solara put a hand on his shoulder. No, she said. They wanted control, but life chooses its own path. Kane looked at her. Is that why you really came here? Not by crash, but by design? She shook her head. No, my ship was targeted. I fled my people. I had no idea you existed. Kane believed her, but now the truth burned inside him. Both their species had tried to use them, one for power, one for fear. But neither side cared about what they wanted. Kane stood. Then let's find out what else they're hiding. They explored deeper into the lab. One room had a sealed cryopod. Inside was a strange fetus, part human, part something else. A failed version. One that didn't survive. Solara stepped back, horrified. That is what they wanted from me? But not what will become, Kane said. Suddenly, alarms blared. Unauthorized access detected. Kane ran back to the terminal. A red light blinked on the map. Ships inbound, fast. Damn it. They found us again. Solara looked at him, her eyes no longer afraid. Then let's not run, he turned. What? We have the knowledge now. We know what they fear. It's not me. It's not you. It's us together. She walked to the center of the lab dob, and for the first time, she opened her full power. The lights bent. The metal walls vibrated. Her body floated slightly, glowing brighter than before. Kane shielded his eyes. What are you doing? He shouted. She whispered, binding, fully awakened. Then the ground shook. Not from her, but from something else waking beneath the lab. The ground rumbled beneath their feet. Old machinery, long buried under the lab, groaned awake. Something ancient, something powerful, was rising. Kane held his gun tight, watching the lights flicker across Solara's glowing body. She hovered inches above the ground, surrounded by pulsing energy. Her skin shimmered between silver and soft light blue, her eyes glowing like twin stars. This wasn't just alien power. This was something primal. Alive. And it was tied to him. Solara? Kane shouted. What are you doing? She landed. Slowly, her feet touching the floor like a whisper. Her eyes locked on his. There was no fear, no weakness, only calm. And something deeper. Your presence awakened the final stage of the bond, she said gently. It's not just between minds or bodies, it is between souls. Kane took a step back. I didn't ask for this. I know, she replied. But I did. She walked toward him, and as she moved, the lights around them turned blue, reacting to her presence. I chose you not just because of strength, she said, but because you showed mercy when no one else did. And my body, it responded to that choice. She stopped in front of him. I offer you the bind stone, Kane frowned. The what? She reached into the glowing markings across her chest. From within, she pulled out a smooth, crystal-like orb, glowing softly with both blue and red light. This stone holds the soul thread, she said. If you touch it, the bond will complete. Our lives will be linked. No one not your kind or mine can ever undo it. Kane stared at the stone. Behind them, the base's alarm still flashed red. Enemies were coming. They didn't have time. But this moment felt too important to ignore. If I say no? He asked. I walk alone, she said quietly, and die soon. The changes in my body are too strong now. Only through the pact can I survive. Kane clenched his fists. He'd never believed in fate. He believed in orders, missions, survival, but everything that had happened since he found her. None of it felt random. He reached out and touched the stone. It burned hot and cold at the same time. A rush of images flashed through his mind, visions of stars, of Solara as a child, of war, of pain, of her chained and weeping. Then he saw his own memories, his team dying, his own tears, his guilt, and then silence. The stone vanished. Absorbed into both of them, Solara gasped, then collapsed. Kane caught her. Her body was warm now, no longer cold or alien. She looked almost human, but still glowing with that soft, otherworldly light. What just happened? He whispered. You completed the pact, she said, her voice soft and sleepy. Now I am truly yours, and you are mine. Suddenly, the scanner on the wall blinked. Human rescue mechs were inbound, but not to save them. They had been marked for capture. They're coming, Kane muttered. Fast! Solara sat up, touching her belly. Her glowing hand hovered there, and she smiled. I can feel it, she whispered. Feel what? She looked at him, her expression filled with wonder and a little fear. The child has begun. Kane's heart stopped. But that's impossible. We haven't. You touched the bindstone. That was enough, she said. Your soul gave the signal. My body responded. It has started. Outside, explosions rocked the land as the human dropships landed. Kane grabbed his weapon. We need to leave. Now. Solara stood stronger than before. Her marks now pulsed with a new rhythm matching Kane's heartbeat. No, she said softly. We don't need to run anymore. And then she raised her hand. The lab trembled, walls cracked. A deep hum rose from the earth. Kane turned and saw something rising from the floor, a massive machine. Part organic, part tech, wrapped in alien bones and human steel. The bindstone had activated something ancient. A guardian, and it was responding to their child. The guardian stood tall. Its giant frame glowed with the same light that now pulsed through Solara's body. It was not fully machine, not fully alive, but it moved when she moved. Its chest held a glowing core, beating in sync with hers. Kane couldn't take his eyes off it. You activated this? He said. No, Solara replied. Our child did. Outside, the human mechs closed in. Their signal showed they were armed heavily. But Kane noticed something strange. They weren't broadcasting rescue codes. They were silent. Too silent. Message suddenly came through Kane's old command. Unit 09. You are ordered to stand down and hand over the Karnathi subject. You have violated Protocol 9. It was from Command, Kane's former command. He stared at the device, heart pounding. You planned this, he muttered. From the beginning. More messages followed. This hybrid is to be transferred to Terra for controlled breeding. Do not resist. The subject is classified as strategic property. Solara stepped closer. She had heard it all. Her hands trembled. They don't see me as alive. Kane looked at her and something inside him broke. They never did. Another sound echoed through the shelter, but this time it was not human. Solara turned pale. That signal! It's them! My people. The Karnathi had found her, through the bond, through the pulse of her unborn child. They had tracked her location. 2 warships entered the atmosphere above the canyon. Kane gritted his teeth. You've got to be kidding me. Now both sides were coming. Both wanted her. Neither cared what she wanted. Suddenly, Solara screamed. She fell to her knees, clutching her belly. Glowing light surged from her skin. Kane rushed to her. What's wrong? The child. It's reacting. To them. She gasped. She looked at him, her eyes full of panic. If they capture me now, the bond will be broken? The child will die? Kane's hands clenched. He had no army, no backup, just one weapon. And a guardian they barely understood, and worse, the betrayal wasn't just from the aliens. It was from his own people. Message appeared on his wristband again. Kane, don't be foolish. You're a soldier, not a father, not a hero. Do your duty and walk away. He ripped the band off and crushed it under his boot. Then the wall exploded. A squad of human exotroopers rushed in, laser rifles up. Target acquired. One shouted. Solara stood slowly, glowing bright, protective energy wrapping around her like a shield. "Stay back!" Kane yelled, pointing his weapon at his own kind. They hesitated. "He's bonded," one whispered. "We weren't told." He completed the ritual. From behind the troops, a high-ranking officer stepped through the smoke, Admiral Cormax. Cold, brutal. Kane had served under him once. "You've made a mistake, Kane," Cormax said calmly. This girl, she's not your future. She's a science project. Walk away and we'll pretend this never happened." Kane stepped forward. "No, you walk away," Cormax sighed. "So be it." But before the troopers could fire, the ground shook again. The Guardian roared, its chest splitting open, revealing a second glowing core. It was no longer just a machine. It was the child's protector. Laser fire hit its armor, but bounced off. With one swipe, it knocked two mechs aside. Solara stood inside its light field, untouched, fierce, glowing with power only a mother could carry. Above, the Kernethi warships descended. One of them sent a voice transmission, echoing through the valley. "Return the seed bearer or face extinction." Kane turned to Solara. "You still want peace?" She looked at him. Her voice trembled. "I want freedom. Then we fight for it." The two stood side by side. Surrounded. Outnumbered. Betrayed. By both sides, but for the first time, truly united, because now, it wasn't just about survival. It was about protecting the only innocent life left in a galaxy that had forgotten what mercy meant. The battlefield had changed. It was no longer just fire and steel. No longer just humans versus aliens. It was now a war over something deeper, something no weapon could fully control. Life. The child. Kane stood in front of Solara as the Guardian loomed behind them, humming with the rhythm of their bond. On one side, human soldiers aimed rifles, waiting for a signal to shoot. On the other side, Kernethi war drones hovered, their weapons locked on both Kane and Solara, but no one moved because everyone was watching her, the seed bearer, the only one of her kind who had ever bonded with a human, and the only one now carrying something that scared both species, a child born of two enemies. Solara stepped forward. Her body glowed not with power, but with something gentler. Warmth. "I will not go with either side," she said loudly. Her voice carried across the canyon. "You call me a weapon, a tool, a mistake, but this child growing inside me is not a threat." She looked up at the Kernethi ship, then at the human officers. "This child is hope. Something neither of you could ever create alone." Admiral Cormax stepped forward, his face cold. "Step aside, soldier," he ordered Kane, but Kane shook his head. "Not this time, sir. I'm done following orders that kill innocents." "Then you're a traitor," Cormax spat. "No," Kane replied. "I'm finally human." Suddenly, a warning blared on both sides. The Guardian was charging, its arms opened. The energy core pulsed. It wasn't attacking, but projecting something, a vision. Everyone, Kernethi and human alike, saw flashes in their minds. A child, with violet eyes and a heartbeat that echoed like thunder, that child walking through alien cities, touching wounded people, healing them, that child standing on a battlefield, stopping soldiers from both sides with just a word, peace. Not through war, but through unity. The soldiers lowered their weapons, even the Kernethi. Drones hovered in silence. Admiral Cormax looked shaken. He turned to Kane. "What was that?" "Our child," Kane said quietly, "showing you a future worth saving." The Kernethi commander sent a final message through the air. "We will not interfere. The child belongs to the stars now." Their ships rose and vanished into the clouds. Cormax gave one last glare, then nodded once to his soldiers. They backed away. No shots were fired. Not that day. Later, under a sky clearing for the first time in years, Kane and Solara stood near a river. The war, for now, was over, but their journey was just beginning. Solara placed Kane's hand over her stomach. He felt it. A kick. Strong. Real. And inside that small heartbeat was the beginning of something far greater than either of them. "Do you think they'll ever accept this child?" Solara asked softly. Kane smiled. they won't have a choice. She smiled back, resting her head on his shoulder. From the ashes of betrayal, from the ruins of war, a new future had begun, not one of conquest, but of connection, because sometimes mercy creates more power than war ever could.